Hi, and welcome back to my channel on all things creative, and this week I have a unique project to share with you. I will be creating a stunning alcohol ink design using a new technique, so this is perfect for those of you who can't find Upo paper. So let's get started by opening xTool Creative Space software on your computer. Choose from a variety of shapes such as circles, squares, or even custom designs. You can also select from an extensive range of patterns available within the software, or you can import your own just like I've done. And once you've played around with the settings and you're satisfied with your coaster design, it's time to bring it to life with the xTool M1 or F1 laser cutting machine. You can do this in either machine, but the M1 is larger, so I can cut out more from just one sheet. With the F1, you can make these the same, but you'll need to do them one by one. So a longer process, but totally doable. For this design, I'm cutting both the coasters, which I've designed in 2 pieces each, plus a coaster holder made from 1 piece for the base and these arches that will build up to the total height of the coasters. Now in this example, I'm only doing 3. That's all I need for this project, but you can make as many as you like and build up the coaster stand by adding 1 arch per coaster. Once your coasters are cut, it's time to add some flair to this ordinary basswood. Of course, you could always keep them natural, or you could use a more noble wood with more character, but in this case, I am going to add some paint to them in the form of black and gold spray paint, and evenly coat the surface of the coasters. So I've chosen the bases to be black and the top gold. The other way around would also work too, and I may try that when I make these in acrylic in a future project. Allow the paint to dry thoroughly before moving on to the next step, which is to glue the arches together. And I have 2 arches for each coaster, which will give me the exact height of all 3 coasters. So using a strong adhesive, I'm using PVA glue, but you can also use wood glue. Carefully glue the arches together. Ensure that each piece is aligned correctly, and I'm using clamps to hold them together, and it's important to let them dry completely before painting them. Now on to the fun part, creating some alcohol ink for the base of the coaster holder. To begin with, I am just going to protect the back of the coaster with some painter's tape. And now let me show you the new technique I discovered that allows you to directly apply alcohol inks onto instead of using a resin base or Yupo paper. I'm using permanent vinyl. So permanent vinyl has a shiny, smooth surface on the front and is self-adhesive on the back. And all I've done in preparation is stuck it down to the round base and sliced off the excess with a scalpel knife. So now that the prep is done, let's gather all the materials we'll need. I'll start by using a pipette to add a few drops of brass mixative into, then blending solution. I'm using my usual 99% alcohol that I've just transferred into this small red-lidded bottle. And then I'm going to choose a selection of alcohol inks. I've chosen purple and fuchsia for this example, and then my mini hairdryer. And make sure you're in a well-ventilated area to work in. Open a window, and also please wear a filtered mask when using alcohol inks, please. Start by selecting the colors you want for your design. Remember, alcohol inks are highly pigmented and they do blend beautifully, so feel free to experiment with different combinations. And then you just begin by dropping the alcohol inks onto this vinyl surface, followed by some isopropyl to blend the inks together. You can even tilt and rotate the coaster just to encourage the inks to move across the wood. Now using the hairdryer, let your creativity flow to create some wispy abstract effects, and if needed, keep adding some isopropyl to the dry areas just to spread the inks out further. Remember, less is more when using the blending solution. A little goes a long way, and you want to maintain the intensity of the vibrant alcohol ink colors. But if you add too much ink, you risk creating a muddy mess. So start slow and then keep adding as you go. And there you have it, a stunning and unique alcohol ink design. And when you're satisfied with your design, you'll just need to give it 2 coats of a spray gloss varnish to seal the inks in. So the idea here is to use the arches that we glued together earlier and place them on top of the round base using a strong glue. I'm eventually going to paint the arches with black paint to match the base of the coasters. And here's another idea for you. If you don't have vinyl, the alternative is to use Upo paper and create a design. That's what I've done here. It's a piece I did a while ago and I really love the shades of fuchsia and black, so I'm changing my mind and I'm using this instead, and I'll keep the other design for another coaster set. And all I'm going to do is cut a circle to the same diameter of the coaster stand. So I've got all my pieces ready to go now, but as a precaution, I just want to slice off the arch portion of the Upo paper just to make sure that it adheres properly to the wood. So just using a little pencil, I'm marking out where the arch ends and then using scissors to cut that part off. I'm adding a little black paint just to the edges in case of any overlap. And whilst that's drying, let's glue the top and bottoms of the coasters together. And because I don't want too much squeeze out, I'm applying just a thin layer with a paintbrush to the underside of the top half, and then I'm sandwiching them together to the bottom half. I really love the depth that the black gives to the gold, and of course I don't show it on screen, but I use some clear varnish on top of all the coasters once they were dried. And now for the last two. And voila, all done. And while these dry, let's finish the coaster holder. Using some PVA glue, I'm painting on a generous layer so that I can stick the Upo paper onto the base. Upo paper is very slick in texture, so I want to make sure it's well adhered to the basswood. And once this is done, you can glue the arch to the base of the stand and then just clamp them together and let them dry. I like to make sure to wipe off any excess glue as I go. It's just easier to clean up fresh glue than if you let it dry hard. And there you go, a laser cut holder with your own unique design. And again, I've applied 2 coats of varnish on the base and the ink design. But if you wanted to, you could also apply a thin layer of epoxy resin to cover up the ink design. And now I'm also going to add some felt table protectors, and I'll be adding my logo to the back using my xTool F1 to engrave the design onto. So I've used the predefined engraving setting for basswood, and this gave me a really cool recessed engraving, and I did that on all the coasters and the holder for a personalized touch. So these coasters make a fantastic gift, or can be a beautiful addition to your own home decor. I'll be selling these at the Christmas fair this year, and of course they are one of a kind and unique. using my xTool laser cutter and engravers and some alcohol inks. Well, that's all for this week. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and you feel inspired to try this new technique yourself. Remember, the possibilities are endless when it comes to alcohol ink designs and teamed with a laser. Don't forget to check out xTool's range of laser cutting machines. I will leave the link in the description under this video for you. Remember to thumbs up this video, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and all the links to purchase these laser machines with a discount code can be found in the description under this video. Thanks for joining me, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye!